The Stack. People, Business, Technology. With Dan Tomaszewski of Everything MSP.
Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here. Hope everybody is doing great. We are here for another episode of The Stack, where we focus on people, business, and technology. Now, today, we're going to talk a little bit beyond the product, and we're going to go a little bit more of a deep dive into critical decisions of choosing the right vendor. It's not just about the features and functionality, although that is critical, but it's also finding a partner who aligns with your vision, who's going to support your growth, and it empowers your success. Now, joining us, we have Mike Anderson with EasyDMARC, a leading provider of email security and domain protection solutions. We'll discuss some of the key factors for MSPs that you should consider when evaluating vendors. We're going to talk about the importance of shared values and goals, and how to build mutually beneficial partnerships that drive growth. And with that being said, let's go ahead and bring Mike in. Mike, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Dan. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. It's another beautiful day here in Michigan. Hope it's great there for you as well.
Yep. Yeah. Down in Texas, loving it.
I mean, you guys get warm weather all the time. I mean, we were blessed the last couple of days having 78-degree weather at the end of October.
That's a normal thing down here in Texas. I live in Texas. I love the warmth. If I want the snow, I'll just fly up and visit you in Michigan. Come about February. I'm sure I'll have plenty of snow. Then I'll fly home and warm back up.
There you go. Exactly. Anytime, man. So let's get started. We want to start learning about how we make informed vendor decisions, right? We want to talk about how we maximize our technology investments. We forge strategic alliances that propel MSPs to business growth. And I guess the first area that I wanted to talk to you about is when an MSP is evaluating a vendor, what do you think are the key factors that they should prioritize that goes beyond just the product offering?
Yeah, so I would say just off the top of my head, there's probably, 2 or 3 that I can think of right out of the gate. Are you going to choose a vendor that continually helps evolve their program and their platform to meet the ever-changing, demanding, needs and demands of the market, right? And I'm not talking about, hey, you start with this guy and then they go acquire this and they go acquire that, and pretty soon you've got all these tentacles that are so far outside of what you're doing that it doesn't make sense. And we all know companies like that have acquired a lot of companies and really kind of muggled the system up. So is your product, are you going to choose a vendor? What is their track record behind evolving their product for you as an MSP? Have they made small adjustments or key feature add-ons that enhance the program to allow you to keep growing and finding ways to get new business? I would say is one. And then do you have a vendor that can help facilitate your growth as an MSP personally, with what they offer, not just, hey, this is another shiny new object you need to have in your bag of tricks, especially in cybersecurity, which we're involved in. But, how are you going to help me go to market, right? How are you going to do that? And for example, EasyDMARC provides, built-in data-driven risk assessments and other key features where the MSP can take that and build that right into their product offering, and then go out and prospect business using that exact data-driven analysis that gives them information on prospects, so they can take it to the prospect and go, hey, look, this is something that you should consider. You're at risk. Here's the data that shows that. We can fix it. We're an MSP that can fix it. We have specialties, for example, in our product and DMARC resolution. We should have a conversation. And that makes for a very, very effective prospecting process. It's like, hey, when you come up to somebody and you say, you got something on your face, right? They're going to go check and see if they've got something on their face, and they're going to want to fix it, right? You're giving them that type of information where, hey, something's wrong. We can help you fix it. Let's have a conversation. Very, very effective. So choose a partner that can help you go to market in getting new new logos. And then the third thing I would say is, is this product going to be very, how disruptive is it going to be coming in? You go from one PSA to another PSA, you're going to experience some disruptions, right? But with our product, the way it's aligned, the way the process works, it dovetails in very neatly to an MSP's processes. The way they go to market, our integrations, ticketing, it all flows in together. There's not too much segmentation where they have all of their operations over here, and then we're just sticking over here. We will bolt right into them with integrations, with workflows, and the ability to go solve for it. So, when you're looking for a vendor, does he have, the ability to really, come in full circle? And then the last point I would make is, what kind of support do they have? So many people start up nowadays, and you get on their program and it seemed like a good thing, but then when you need some help, nobody to be seen, nobody to be, oh, what do you mean you went to bed? What do you mean your support? It's not after 6 o'clock. And so for MSP, time is money. They cannot afford to be waiting on hold and not getting answers and solving tickets and in real life situations for their customers. So, do you have a partner that can, provide, multiple silos like I just mentioned?
Yeah, and I mean, there has to be that mesh, right? There's got to be a strong mesh, but also too, we talk a lot about on our calls with MSPs that, we want to develop relationships with our clients that it ends up being not a client-vendor relationship, but a true partnership. And I know, a lot of people use that word partnership, and it's easy to throw that word out there, but it has to mean something. And if you just throw the term out there and there's no value to what you're trying to say, then you're just throwing words around. And I think the same thing goes for the relationship between the MSP and the vendor, right? Because we need strong relationships in order to deliver quality products and services. And, and like you said, you don't want it to be something that, when you put it into your environment, your overall operational functionality, that it's going to cause conflicts, right? You want it to mesh together. But what would you say that what makes a vendor and MSP relationship successful over the long term? Because again, we don't want it just to be short term. What is that? What are some of those long term aspects?
Yeah, and so I've sat on been in the MSP chair on the other side, so I know what I was looking for from the vendors, and now being on this side in multiple roles, is the partner listening to us as MSPs? And so one of the things that, for example, in our program, we have dedicated what we call growth managers or account managers assigned to the MSPs, and so they all have a bank of MSPs, and I think there's 5 or 6 growth managers across our thousands of MSPs who are reaching out daily, right, and listening to the MSP, and not just conducting QBRs, because we were just at a conference, and one of the things that we heard over and over was QBRs don't waste my time, right? Because those have, to some degree gotten past their prime. Now you can glean some good information, but just to have a QBR for a QBR is not really going to get it. And so one of the things that we do with our growth strategy with our account managers is their number one job is to be listening to the MSPs to help them grow their business, right? That is job number one. Now, of course, they'll answer any questions or remove any barriers, but is your vendor listening to you? Are they actively trying to help you grow their business? And I mean, like in there calling, what are you doing? How's this campaign? Do you want to do a campaign? I've got an idea for a campaign. Here, take this information and run a campaign. When I was in an MSP, I was running campaigns nonstop. And after a while, sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas. And having a vendor come to me with ideas, right, to help me go sell, it was invaluable. And so, having a vendor that listens to the MSP, and we're really evolving the product based on what we're hearing from the MSPs, not only on the front end before they become customers, right? What are they wanting to come into our ecosystem? But the thousands of MSPs that are already on our platform, what are they wanting to make their life easier, and we are actually implementing that into the product and program. So having a vendor that's not only listening to you but taking action for what you're needing, I think is key for a long-term relationship.
Absolutely. And I mean, essentially, you become an extension of the MSP's team, right? And, and we do know that MSPs are often strapped for time. I mean, if we could go bottle time and, it would be amazing. We'd be multi-billionaires if we could bottle time and make that available. But the other thing that you mentioned too about QBRs, doing a QBR just for the purpose of QBR, just to check it off a box maybe each quarter, it doesn't make sense. And I totally agree with you. I mean, there needs to be value there. And I think that same thing is, with our MSP clients. If you're trying to schedule time with the decision makers, the leaders of that organization, their time is of great value, and they're not going to meet with us if we can't provide value. If they feel as if all we're there to do is try to sell them something new, they're just going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. I thought you were here to help me and help my company. And so I totally agree. And I think that, the relationship between the MSP and the client isn't really a whole lot different than a relationship between a MSP and the vendor, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when you're assigned a dedicated account rep at EasyDMARC, again, their sole focus is not to sell you something, but to help you go sell something. Now, of course, it's going to be a win for us in the long term.
Right.
You're winning,
Yeah.
we're winning. But we provide, for example, webinars and seminars across the market on sales strategies, marketing strategies, operational strategies that have nothing to do with DMARC, right? But it's getting the MSP into the mindset of how they can get better, how they can break out of that limiting mindset, reaching out to the MSP. Hey, we haven't heard from you. What's going on? Where are you at with your marketing programs? What do you need for a marketing program? Do you want to try this type of campaign or that type of campaign? Do you want to do a joint event, webinar or in-person event at maybe, an IT Nation or a DattoCon or something like that, where you can, bring people together and have an event, attract customers, attract prospects, and really care about their success, because when they're winning, we're winning too.
And I mean, essentially, you can sell without selling. I mean, when you're providing value, you're understanding what their business needs are. You are being able to show them what you have available, what products and services are available to help them, fill that need. And again, it's still, in the end, you might be selling them something, but it's helping you move your business forward. And it's that win-win. And what I like to say, it's a win-win-win, because it's a win between all three. You got to win between the MSP and the client, and you got to win between the vendor and the MSP. It just all works together. And go ahead. I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
No, that's the selling movement today. If you're looking at vendors and they don't have, not just, okay, here's a few marketing slicks that you can access and go sell it, but if they don't have specific dedicated resources, to help you go sell in the market, to help you be successful, I mean, you really need to really stop and consider, is this the vendor for me? Now, if you save $1 or $2 here and there, but you're spending way more time trying to get prospects and solve problems, everybody knows that time is money in an MSP, and you clear that off and go with a vendor that clearly is helping you move forward in the market with actual strategies, actual tactics, actual people and mechanisms to go get new logos.
So when we talk about those relationships, let's talk about those red flags. What would you say are some of those red flags? You mentioned one a little bit ago of the, hey, they sold me, but then when you need help, like, hey, is anybody out there? What are some other ones that, an MSP should be concerned about?
Yeah. And so I hear this, quite frankly, all the time from MSPs. They've been on another platform and they maybe come to our platform, and our platform is constantly evolving for the MSPs. And so we're setting the bar higher and higher. And this is an arms race. Make no mistake about it. EasyDMARC got off to, a massive lead in the market. In the industry.
Yeah.
Analysts have all said we're the market leader, and so we're having competitors saying, hey, we're a valuable option to EasyDMARC. Well, if they're an option to us, that tells us we're the market leader, and the industry statistics show that. But there's a reason for that, right? And so we hear all the time, hey, we left them because they're just not evolving, right? We left them because we needed this little feature, and a year later, or 6 months later, or 9 months later, whatever the time frame was, nothing's happened, and they've been on our platform, for the last 6 or 9 months, and they've seen all these changes that just keep stacking up. So do you have a provider, again, going back, not only can you find them when you have something wrong, but are they listening to you? And then most importantly, and I mean the most important thing, do they have the capabilities to then evolve the program and the platform to continue to keep up with what the MSP market needs? That's key. We hear that all the time. Hey, we were over there, these guys got really stale, they got lazy, they got complacent, we couldn't get any help. And so I sat on that side, right? I sat in your chair, in the MSP chair, so I know what that's like. And so when I put this program together, when we put this program together, that was one of the things we wanted to avoid. How do we get, and we have, all the internal meetings, the bar is here. How do we get to here? When we get to here, how do we get to here? And so, listening to the MSP is really key. And if you're with a vendor and they're the same as they were a year ago or 6 months ago, you might want to consider that.
So when we talk about monetization and value, let's talk a little bit about how EasyDMARC can help MSPs transform DMARC from it being, a compliance tool so going from that compliance tool to being a, monetizable service that clients see as being essential.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that work in our favor, not just EasyDMARC, but the DMARC in general. DMARC going from optional to mandatory earlier this year has really set the market on fire to move forward. So we offer a number of things in the platform, the overall program that make it easier for the MSP to monetize. And we talked about, does this mesh in very easily? Check. Training, documentation, platform, tech support, engineering training, check. I know how to use it. And then, okay, I feel comfortable. And then really zeroing in on the data to be able to see, okay, how do I monetize this? And we have MSPs that monetize it in 3 ways. Number one, from the assessment. So we provide assessment tools that I mentioned to be able to do a risk assessment, an overall view of the compliance of the domain, and be able to then set forth, okay, here is this report, here's this risk assessment. We give them the ability to customize it and take an actual data-driven risk assessment to a potential prospect. And even if it's not a customer, just a prospect, you can cold market these. And our statistics show, again, surveying thousands and thousands of MSPs on our program, that statistically we close these between 5 and 10%. Our MSPs do. So the more you do, the more domains you add, the more new logos, revenue, and profitability, right? So the key is just to get your foot in the door, in domain, solving for domains. So the assessment's one monetization strategy, as well as the alignment process. So once you get do the deep dive, you're going to be able to see, okay, this is good, but this is not good. Do we want to monetize the consulting services, the alignment services behind that? Some people call it configuration fees, statement of work, whatever you want to call it. So there's another way that you can monetize the actual work. It's like any other, when you buy an ERP, right? You don't just pay for the software. You've got to configure it, right? You got to pay the consulting fee. So that type of monetization strategy is available. Many of our MSPs employ it. And then, of course, that holy grail of MRR, they need to monitor it on an ongoing basis for changes, deletes. There's a number of things why they would want to monitor it on a monthly basis. But, you have to be able to have an overall program, get up to speed, then the data within the tool itself, and then the back end. Okay, I've got the information, right? How do I go to market this? What do I say? You don't need to hire a marketing expert to do that. we have all the content, right, that you can pull down, co-brand, and send out. It's an easy story when MSPs come on our program.
So with that being said, taking a look at your partner program, can you share a little bit more about what that partner program looks like? And also, while we're at it, are there some things that you guys are working on in the future as far as being able to continue to enhance your program?
Yeah, for sure. So the program has been expanded. So we brought on a guy named Alan Richards, a new hire
Nice.
to run the back end growth team. That was all underneath me, but we were growing so big unilaterally, we had to split it up. And so we recently brought on Alan Richards, head of our MSP growth team, to run it. And he's got a set of dedicated account reps that are assigned to a portion of the customer base to go help them grow. And again, their number one focus is to help the MSP grow their business. That's all they're measured on. It's not like we can sell domains anyway, right? We have to enable the MSP to go sell domains. And so
Right.
we do that by providing everything up front. We take the decision-making, the anxiety. I don't know what to create. I don't know how to, need Mark? Forget all that, right? We go, here it is. Take your pick from all these videos, all these white papers, all these ebooks, all these stories, anything that the MSP would need to go sell it. We bring it right to their front door. There is a number of enhancements that we've recently added and that we're going to continue to add. We're in the ConnectWise event program. So those API connections, we've recently joined the PAX 8 marketplace. So all of their connections, there's, I think, 25,000, 27,000 MSPs in the PAX 8 marketplace. So, very valuable new program. We're in the process of joining the Microsoft marketplace and the Amazon marketplace, so people can find us in a number of areas. And then all the API integrations that you can think of are coming to make the MSP's life easier. So, using our product, but, mainly managing the business out of that single pane of glass, whether it's their PSA, their RMM, their documentation system. We're adding all of those to just really have that clear line of sight for the MSPs. And again, this goes back to, we understand the MSP's business. This is not just solving for DMARC. It's making the MSP's life easier, solving for DMARC, and making money in the process.
Yeah, and those partnerships are critical. We like we talked about. MSPs have a limited amount of time and resources, and when you provide these type of tools, making it more of a done for you or just add water type of a process. That's just a brilliant way of just helping to strengthen that relationship, but also allowing them to hit the ground running on day one. Because as we know, if an MSP, takes on a new vendor and they've got to come up with marketing materials, they've got to come up with any kind of support materials around getting that product out there in front of their clients, that can slow the process down. And, I think we've said probably multiple times on this call, time is money, and it's critical. And so I salute you guys for, going that extra mile and making that available. I do want to share, I'm going to go ahead and throw here at the bottom of the screen. Of course, for anybody wanting to learn more about EasyDMARC, you can go to EasyDMARC.com, or if you are on our Everything MSP website, you can search for EasyDMARC. We've got a lot of information there. You can reach directly out to EasyDMARC, schedule a demo, et cetera, et cetera. But as we're wrapping things up, any parting words that you'd love to share with our audience?
Yeah, stay tuned for a lot more. We've got a lot of big industry events coming up, and we'll be at a lot of the biggest industry events going through the rest of this year. We've got IT Nation coming up, next week, so we will be there if anybody's going to be out there. And then we're going to be full steam ahead in 2025. Lots of industry events, both through virtual events, webinars with industry leaders like yourself, guys like Matt Lee, Matt Topper, Eric Simpson, James Abercrombie, you name it. There's so many out there that we partnered with that the Chris Weiser, people that really not only just, come on and discuss with us, but are believers and users of our program, right? And that will, full-throated recommend our program. And so it's nice to have people like that in the corner, to have that social proof, right? That these guys can rep any DMARC company in the world, and really they're partnered up with people like us because they see what we're doing and the advantage the MSP gets. But lots of good stuff coming for 2025 for sure.
Awesome. Mike, we thank you so much for your time. It was great to have you on today. Appreciate the information. And for everybody out there, until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. And thank you, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to The Stack.